Every year we invite survivors of domestic violence to share their testimony with us, a woman who has devoted her time to supporting those who are affected by domestic violence. Jackie?
The title of my testimony is By the Grace of God. If you're like me, I bet you've heard that saying many times in your life. But I'm here to admit to you that for many years, I never understood what that meant. I thought only very deeply spiritual people understood what by the grace of God meant. So I just thought I'd never understand it. But I can tell you the exact place, the exact date and time that I came to understand what by the grace of God really means. I was volunteering in a women's prison, and I was standing before them the way I am today, standing before you, giving my testimony. The room was crowded with women's prisoners, and they were all staring at me. It was so quiet you could have heard a pin drop. And you may wonder, why would they give me that much attention? Well, it was because the story I was telling of my life was the story of their life. And as I looked out into the crowd, I saw tears running down almost every woman's face. Tears, they weren't crying for me. Those tears were for themselves. I was telling a story of being a young, desperate, scared, abused mother, and I was telling their story. I told them of how it took so much courage for me to get out of that relationship, to hide from that man, and to free myself from him. I told them of hope for their new lives, because I had made myself a new life. I had a life full of God's love. I had a life with a new, loving husband, and I gave them hope. Because you see, a lot of them women were planning to return to those abusive relationships. And a lot of them didn't know they had a choice. And because I was standing there that day, I was offering them a choice. And that's when it hit me. There were so many similarities between me and them, but there was this glaring difference. And you may ask, what was that difference? Well, that difference was that by the grace of God, I was able to leave that prison that day, and they couldn't. By the grace of God, I was free from the abuse, and maybe they weren't. It was grace that I was given by God that I didn't deserve, and I often wonder why. Why did I get that grace? I often wonder, why did I get the abuse? But now it's starting to make sense to me. I received that grace, and I went through that terrible ordeal so that I could be here, so that I could be other places to minister to women who are scared, to minister to women who are desperate, who don't think they have choices. I was also given that grace and that horrible experience so that I could help break down the stereotypes around domestic violence. Because those women told me that I didn't look like a survivor. I didn't look like a victim. And I'm here to tell you today that the face of domestic violence is very diverse. Women, all women, could be victims of domestic violence, no matter what their race is, no matter what their age, no matter their income level, no matter their educational level. Everyone can be a victim of domestic violence, and everyone can be a survivor. Everyone can break the cycle. And I'm hoping that the work I've done in the community and the work that all of you are doing in the community can help end this cycle. And I'm going to tell you that it's not easy to stand up here today. I'm very nervous, and there's a little element of shame and embarrassment that still lingers with me, even though it's been 25 years. But I'm also hoping to get rid of that in this community, to take away the shame, to take away the embarrassment, and to help you realize that domestic violence has a face of diversity. And I will end today by saying, by the grace of God, go I.